Welcome to episode 5. Unfortunately, I'm still a little sick, so please bear with me. However, this episode we are going to start off with these thermal generators. So I'm going to set these up down here, actually. I'm going to set up a nice area down here. I'm going to lower the floor a little more, obviously. And I'm going to have all the wires feeding all these machines from beneath so that we don't have to look at these ugly copper wires and generators everywhere. And I will have those auto-fed. So, what that means is I will need to build some of these. We will build all the way to the Mark IIIs right away, obviously, because we're rich. So I'll need energy condensers, or energy collectors, sorry, connected to relays, connected to an energy condenser, in order to keep these 9 thermal generators running all the time, so I never have to worry about filling them up. So that will be first. And then, as I've said in a few different episodes, but this time I will, now that we have our automated advanced machine block set up, we can build more of these pretty easily, these rotary macerators. So I'll set up a new rotary macerator area, and we will make red matter, or just EMC in general, much faster. So I'll set up a much more efficient EMC farm so that we can lead on to our next upgrade, which is where we'll finish, hopefully, and that will be upgrading our red matter armor that we're wearing now into the most expensive armor in the game, which is gem armor. Each piece of gem armor takes one of these, which, as you can see, has a massive EMC value there, and they all have to be fully charged. I'll show you guys that later. So it's closer to 75 or 76 million EMC, which you can see I've only got enough for about 1 right now. So obviously we need to make this go much faster so that we can actually build that gem armor sometime today. So, I guess I'll get started on these thermal generators and then kind of explain to you guys how they work once I get there. So, see you there. So, for those who do not know, this is called a power flower, I believe. And as you can see, I just have this in there for now as a placeholder, but it is making a ton of free EMC just by itself per second. So these are energy collectors. They're what you're intended to use as an EMC farm, as opposed to the blaze rod method I'm using. And the way they work is if you just place one down, you can see it's collecting EMC from the sunlight. And the best way to make sure it'll always get the max sunlight is you place glowstone right on top of that red light sensor, and it'll always have max sunlight, and it's just gonna create EMC for you forever. So if you put it beside a energy condenser, the energy condenser now has access to this. So if you put glowstone in there, you can see it used up all of the stuff it had stored, and now it's just collecting whatever it can and using it. And then what the antimatter relays do is if you place one down and you place that, it'll collect straight from here, and then it'll give straight to here, but it'll collect from there and there, so all 3 of those at the same time. These will all stay at 0 because they're all feeding the relay, and then the relay will feed the energy condenser. So if you place these collectors, or these relays, sorry, on all the sides of one of these, which what I did here, as you can see in there, one on all 5 other sides of it, and then I have these energy collectors all around the relays. So that's basically how this works. It's just maximizing the amount of power I can get from it, or EMC I can get from it. And this will never go down. This never has, it'll never run out of fuel, never run out of EMC, so to speak. So that's what this will do. And of course, I won't have it making these. I'll have it making lava cells that are going to fuel the thermal generators. So I just wanted to explain how that worked if you didn't know how that worked. So now I'll place these and do all the routing with the chips and try to feed some power up there. Alright, we got the power set up here. It looks like this. So how it works is the lava cells will be made forever in this EMC, as I said before, in this energy condenser. They will come down. If they aren't needed anywhere, they will go in this chest, and I'll just collect the EMC so this chest doesn't fill up and I don't just waste it. But if they are needed, they will come into any one of these 9 and fill it up. As you can see, they're all full because I'm not really using much power at the moment. But if I, let's say, take a stack out, they won't go there anymore. And now they'll just go in here 1 by 1, or 4 by 4 in this case, until it's full. And oh, look, they're full, they come back, and they'll just get turned into EMC. I have it set up just going into here, just so I don't waste the EMC. And then this cable I haven't used much, but it's just HV, oh, it's glass fiber cable actually. Glass fiber. It's this guy here, glass fiber cable. It's a much more reliable cable than I had up above, which was just insulated copper cable. This glass fiber cable will travel much farther without losing electricity and does higher voltages as well. So these are outputting high voltage, I believe, and or at least medium voltage. And the generators that I had before were just low voltage. So now that I got power that will never run out, as long as I'm not using more than 9 thermal generators can output at a time. Now I'm gonna place, I haven't quite decided, maybe 25 rotary macerators here for my upgraded DMC farm, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's not too laggy with all the entities going around, but we'll see. This is what our finished EMC farm looks like. It is an absolute mess. However, it works, does what we need it to do. Unfortunately, the 3x3 thermal generators I had back here was not enough. Added a bunch more. Most of them are running, a few are not. Anyways, this is just chaos, really. But luckily I never have to do anything, and it'll just run forever with all this set up. So that's pretty nice. So basically how this works, it's the same as the smaller one I had before. These are all rotary macerators, all of these everywhere. This grinds 1 blaze rod into 3 blaze powder. You only need 2 blaze powder worth of EMC to make 1 blaze rod, as you can see here, 1536, 768. You get 3. It's kind of a bug, it's only supposed to make 2 technically, but it makes 3. So then all the blaze powder from all of these is sent into an energy condenser. You can see it shows up here, and then it's immediately turned into blaze rods. The blaze rods are all sent back to more macerators, and that goes on forever. And eventually you get way more blaze rods than you need because you're making so much more EMC. So I have that all collected in this chest here, and it just turns them into a high EMC item so that it'll fill up and I can collect it. So you can see here I've already got 15 million EMC in here, just sitting here. And I moved the chest from over here back to here just so I only had one of them. This is also collecting any excess EMC from our collectors over here. So if you want to build this yourself, what you'll need is an item responder chip, an item broadcaster chip, and this right here is a, I can just pull one out so you can see it, a routed interface pipe. So these are the Project Red transportation pipes. So basically this lets the system know what's inside the machine it's attached to. This tells the network it'll accept, it has room to accept anything the network has to send. So all of these machines here are telling the network what's inside it, and they're all accepting items from the network. And then these chests, they have a stock keeper chip, which in it, it's requesting blaze powder just as much as it can, refill. Oh, this is actually supposed to be infinitely. So refill infinitely, and it'll just grab as much blaze powder as it can all the time. And then the item extractor chip, I'm just saying don't output blaze powder because that's what we want in. So blacklist blaze powder. And what that does, the extractor chip will just pull whatever it can from this chest. All the time, just always pulling any items it's allowed to from this chest. So in this case, blaze rods, pulling as many as it can all the time. So the reason I have this chest here, which just does the same thing, except it's got 3 stock keeper chips instead of 1. And this chest here also has 3 stock keeper chips, all just requesting blaze powder. The reason I need 3 chests is because 1 isn't enough. I tried it with 1, and it would only use these 2 rows of Mace Raiders. I tried it with 2, and it would only use, well, it would actually use every Mace Raider except 1, so it seemed like 3 stock keeper chips will only request enough for 14 or so Mace Raiders. So I ended up having to put 3 chests down in order to request and use every Mace Raider I had planned to use and already built, so I wanted to use them all. So, a ton of crafting later and some building, and then I ran out of power, had to extend this. Anyways, it's done. So this is making a ton of EMC. Actually, I let it run for 10 minutes just to see what it was making. And it's making about 225 diamonds a minute. So that's pretty good. That's oh, sorry, that's, yeah, just under 2 million EMC per minute. So that is pretty nice. Now, as far as upgrading my armor, as I said I wanted to do, it is still pretty expensive, making about 2 million EMC a minute. I need one of these, which I have made. So one of these is 25 million EMC. Has to be fully charged though, so I put it on this side. Now it's 76 million EMC. So once I take that out, I only have 30 million EMC left, even after having this run for a while. So I won't be able to build all the armor pieces right now, but I will build one because I've already crafted the pieces. So there we go, we got our first gem armor. And it does come with night vision, so that's pretty cool. I'm not sure if it feeds me or not. It might. I think it does. It'll keep me full food all the time. Maybe. Not 100% sure, but we do have the first piece of our gem armor finished. And if we want the rest, yeah, 76 mil, so that's 40 minutes. With this massive setup, that's about 40 minutes per, so about 2 hours of this running, you know, by the end of next episode, after I've got some more stuff building and some gameplay, then we'll have enough EMC, but till about 2 hours later of running, we will not have enough to upgrade all these pieces. So, done with all that, done with that, done with the helmet. A little bit shorter episode today, I believe, but that is what we've done today. I think that's where I'll call it. It's fairly late. These machines, luckily, don't have ugly wires anymore. We got generators underground. I don't have to refill any generators. And I no longer have to refill any thermal generators either by hand. So that is pretty nice. Pretty big upgrade this episode. So thanks for watching, and yeah, catch you in the next one.